Good evening. This is ATN Global News at 9. First, the headlines. River security operatives in show of force. Police arrest 681 protesters. Tinubu to address Nigerians on Sunday. Nigeria's money supply hits 101 naira. Trump agrees to debate Kamala Harris. Mark Angel accused of spreading death rumors. City defender Koto leaves. Etihad.
From the line to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Now the news in detail. Combined team of security operatives engaged in a public show of force in River State despite a relatively peaceful protest across certain states in the country. Several northern states have had a breakdown of law and order as hoodlums have looted and burgled homes and businesses. Curfews were in place in Kano, Kaduna, Katsina and Yobe states, and heavy security presence on the second day of the demonstration. Newsmen who were on the ground to cover day 3 of the protest witnessed officers of the counter-terrorism unit distinguishable by their red headgear around where there were other regular policemen. The officers were seen blocking the road while clutching tight, at the same time impeding movement in an apparent show of force for about 5 minutes before moving on. Their presence succeeded in sending shivers down spines and a clear message to a pocket full of protesters on the ground. Some of the protesters who were seen holding on to placards for display were dissuaded from lifting their written sign cards as they watched the officers drive on. Analysts have said the issue of hunger can be addressed proactively and objectively. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, a political analyst, Nze, identified that the federal government should remove some bottlenecks policies if it must tackle the issue of hunger in the country. Meanwhile, Mr. Nze, however, recommended that Governor Siminalayi Fubara should make Rivers State a heaven by subsidizing food and deal with security issues in the rural areas. Recall that Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State faced intense backlash from NBAT governance protesters at the Port Harcourt Government House on Thursday following his offering of pure water money to them. Operatives of the Akwa Ibom State Police Command on anti-riot operation rescued a suspected witch doctor at the verge of being lynched by angry mob over allegation that he was behind series of ritual killings attack communities in Ikono local government area of the state. ATN gathered from the local residents that following incessant cases of mysterious deaths without any traceable causes, angry youths of the area stormed the shrine of the man identified as Michael Edet Efa, where they have recovered some incriminating items that inform the outrage. Confirming the incident, the police public relations officer in the state, ASP Tim Fon John, said the suspect has been rescued and was currently being detained at the State Criminal Investigation Department for investigation and subsequent prosecution. ASP John also dismissed earlier insinuations that the outrage leading to some people sustaining injuries was caused by the ongoing NBAT governance protests, explaining that the pandemonium was due to an attempted mob action by the youth against the suspects. Following the rising incidence of maternal mortality globally, the Akwa Ibom State government has been urged to increase the budgetary allocation for family planning as well as ensure the release of funds to address the gaps in family planning services in the state. This was part of the resolutions reached in Uyo over the weekend at the end of a media and stakeholders roundtable organized by the Challenge Initiative, a non-governmental organization in the reproductive health and family planning sector. The chairman, Akwa Ibom State Advocacy Core Group, Dr. Mandu Ekpeyong, in her paper tagged Catalyzing Economic Growth through funding for family planning in Akwa Ibom State, said funding family planning could be a strategic investment in the state's economic development. She added that the availability of family planning commodities and consumables would enable individuals to make informed choices about their reproductive health, improve health outcomes, and reduce poverty and hunger. According to her, government should understand reasons for funding and facilitating the prompt release of such funds to family planning units in the Ministry of Health and other health parastatals in the state, as such would catalyze economic growth and reduce population growth. On her part, the family planning supervisor in Mkparenin, Mrs. Nsima Umo, admitted the near absence of FP commodities and consumables in the primary health facilities, which, according to her, was affecting the services. She noted that the limited voices in support of family planning, especially among key decision makers in the state, saying that inadequate male involvement as well as myths and misconceptions have negatively impacted family planning uptake in the state. The Secretary Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Akwa Ibom State Chapter, Reverend Isang Oyomo, while harping on the importance of family planning to women's general health and well-being, noted that some churches were still held down by myths over family planning, calling for more sensitization to churches, especially the men. As the nationwide protest enters day 3 today, the Situation Room of the NBAT governance protests in Delta State has asked protesters to avoid confrontation with security personnel, refrain from destroying public property, stay hydrated and bring snacks to the designated protest venues. It handed the instruction in a statement signed by Awipi Tedwolo of the NSAS Governance and Bad Governance Protest Situation Room. Tedwolo assured protesters that arrangements for medical teams to provide assistance, water and snacks had been made, and enjoined protesters to look out for one another. The statement also demanded good governance, accountability, transparency and an end to economic hardship as well as insecurity. According to the statement, let us unite and make our voices heard. The protest situation room also asked all protesters to assemble peacefully at the designated locations for day 3 of the protest. It also urged protesters to carry the Nigerian flags and placards with clear messages, arrive at designated locations and be respectful and cautious to security personnel and passerby. Analysts have emphasized on the need for President Bola Tinubu to renew the expectations of Nigerians. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Blowout, a public affairs analyst, Lovedale Purum, cited that Nigerians are tired of promises, stressing that citizens want to experience the renewed hope agenda of the president.
Believe me, hunger has different dimensions. As I'm speaking with you here this morning, I am hungry. But probably my level and dimension of hunger has not gotten to that of another person out there. You understand the point? So for women, for mothers, you know, it pains me if I see some government personnel trying to, you know, dismiss the message that the masses are trying to pass by saying that the protest is being politically inspired. You know, it baffles me. Now, how much will you give to mothers? How much will somebody give to those fathers, those mothers, aged women that are protesting on the street? You think they are playing? You think they are joking? I pray it shouldn't get to the point where we begin to see both aged men and women, you know, protesting naked on the streets of Nigeria. I pray it shouldn't get to that point. And that is why the government has to do something as quickly as possible, you know, to address this issue and to reignite hope in the life of Nigerians. Thank God for the president's administrative slogan, which he tagged the Renewed Hope Agenda.
Mr. Lovedale further tasked the federal government to listen to the citizens and prefer immediate solution to cushion the effect of what its policies have resulted.
I'm very optimistic about this protest, and I believe something good is going to come out of it. If the government feels they will play politics with it, maybe as usual, as it used to be, for me, I don't see it being easy if the government feels that. So if they are calling for dialogue, they should be ready to listen to what the people are saying and then proffer immediate solution to cushion the effect of what the government policies has, of course, resulted and what it has led us into. So there should be immediate policies, immediate solution to remedy the situation. So for me, I am very much optimistic that at the end of this whole thing, something good is going to come out of it.
Okay. This is coming as market women in Ughelli metropolis and neighboring communities hijacked protests that began as early as 6 a.m. on Thursday, August 1, waving green leaves to show solidarity and express their hunger at Otodo Junction, Ughelli North local government area of Delta State. Kogi State Police Command has said that the caretaker chairman of Kaba Bunu local government area, Mr. Zacchaeus Dare Michael, has escaped from his kidnappers' den. Dare Michael was reportedly kidnapped on Friday by some gunmen on the Kaba Okene road while on his way home. He was said to have been adopted along with some of his aides. Confirming this, the Kogi Police Command spokesperson, Williams Ovie Aya, said, "I can confirm that the chairman graciously escaped from kidnappers in the early hours of Saturday." A family friend who spoke to newsmen on condition of anonymity said he heard that the chairman is back home. He's yet to visit his family house. Katsina State Police Command has refuted claims that a police officer shot and killed a colleague during the protest against bad governance in the state. In a statement issued to newsmen by police public relations officer in the state, the command described the video as manipulated and taken out of context. The Katsina PPRO identified the individual in the video as an officer of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps who sustained injuries from an accident during the protest and not a gunshot wound. The police commissioner for Katsina State, CP Aliu Musa, reiterated that there were no fatalities recorded during the protest. He urged the public to prioritize accuracy and verify information through official channels. He reassures the public of the command's commitment to maintaining peace and order in the state in collaboration with sister security agencies. Katsina State Police Command has disclosed that 64 hoodlums were arrested with 693 bags of fertilizer they stole from a warehouse in the Dusima local government area of the state on the first day of nationwide protest. The nationwide protest turned violent in the Dusima township, where earlier the protesters burnt down the party office of the All Progressives Congress (APC). The command spokesperson Abubakar Sadiq Aliyu, who disclosed this to newsmen in an interview, said the hoodlums vandalized the fertilizer warehouse in the Dusima township and carted away 693 bags but were later arrested. ASP Sadiq said the disorderly behavior of the unruly protesters compelled the state government to impose a 24-hour curfew on the Dusima local government area and a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew on the remaining 33 local government areas of the state. Meanwhile, relative calm have since returned to the state since the declaration of the curfew. Jigawa State Magistrate Court sitting in Dutse on Friday ordered the remand of protesters for 2 weeks in prison or in person. Magistrate Awalu Sani ordered Umar Dandami, suspected of leading violent protests in Jigawa State, to be remanded in Birnin Kudu prison for 2 weeks. ATN reported that the peaceful protests in the state turned violent, resulting in the death of 2 persons with many injured and buildings set ablaze, while properties worth millions of naira were looted across the state. The police command also arrested 68 violent bad governance protesters in Dutse, Kiyawa, Kazwere and Babura local government areas. The command also recovered 49 bags of looted fertilizer, 15 bundles of mosquito nets and other valuable items. Nigerian Bar Association, Dutse branch of Jigawa State, has condemned what it described as the unfortunate looting, vandalism and destruction of government infrastructures and private businesses in the state by hoodlums masquerading as protesters. A statement issued in Dutse, Jigawa State by the branch chairman, Mustafa Mohammed Kashim Esquire, said the association shocked and dismayed over the unpatriotic and riotous act of some unscrupulous elements, leading to the wanton destruction of critical infrastructures and assets of the state and local governments, as well as private businesses criminally destroyed and looted on August 1, 2024 across the state. The chairman commended the security agencies in the state for their professionalism in handling the situation across the state. It's called on the Commissioner of Police in Jigawa State to arrest anyone identified and swiftly commence the prosecution of all those found culpable in unleashing mayhem in the state, and also to serve as deterrent against future reoccurrence. Jigawa State government has lifted the 24-hour curfew imposed following the End Bad Governance protest that turned violent. The Jigawa State Commissioner for Information, Saga Musa, who disclosed this at the government house in Dutse on Saturday, said the decision comes after realizing that the state is at present relatively peaceful. Meanwhile, the police have arrested over 200 suspected looters and recovered stolen items. Niger State Commissioner of Police CP Shawulu Damaman has dismissed reports of fatalities during the End Bad Governance protest in Suleja Town, Niger State. Speaking to journalists in his office, CP Damaman stated that he had not received any reports of loss of lives during the protest, contrary to earlier claims from some sections of the media. However, he confirmed that there were instances of vandalism and looting of properties at the Secretariat of Tafa local government area. CP Damaman made this statement shortly after returning from Suleja and Tafa local government areas where he assessed the situation firsthand. The End Bad Governance protests have been ongoing nationwide, with reports of deaths, violence and calm emerging from different parts of the country. However, Mina, the capital of Niger State, has seen normal vehicular and business activities with no case of placards carrying protesters. Governor Nuwa Yahaya of Gombe State has expressed deep concern over the extensive damage caused by hoodlums who hijacked the nationwide protest against hunger and hardship. The violence led to significant destruction of both public and private properties in Gombe State. After inspecting the affected areas in Gombe Metropolis, Governor Yahaya visited several damaged facilities, including the Gombe State Bureau of Public Service Reforms, the Gima Lodge, Kumbia Primary Healthcare Center, and the Blue Jay Motor Park, where 6 CNR vehicles were destroyed. The governor also toured the Gombe main market, where he met with business owners and offered words of consolation for their losses. Inoa directed the Ministry of Works, Transport and Housing and the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, to conduct a thorough assessment of the damages to facilitate support for those affected. He stressed the importance of maintaining peace in Gombe, a state known for its stability, and urged residents to avoid actions that could disrupt harmony. While acknowledging the challenges and hardship faced by the people, the governor stated that violence and destruction are not acceptable means of expressing grievances. The governor said his administration is ready to support any peaceful demonstration, and the police are ready to give protesters the maximum protection to exercise their constitutional rights once they follow the laid down rules, stating, "What we cannot allow is the breakdown of law and order." Yahya urged residents to resume their economic and social activities, assuring them of safety and security. He also commended the swift response and professionalism displayed by the security agencies in containing the situation. Gombe State Criminal Justice and Inquiry Committee, led by the state's Chief Judge, Justice Halima Mohammed, has released 185 inmates from various custodial centers across the state. The decision was made as part of an initiative to decongest the prisons and ensure the well-being of inmates. Following a visit to the Biliri Correctional Center on Friday, Justice Mohammed expressed satisfaction with the committee's efforts in ensuring that eligible inmates were freed. She praised the support and dedication of the committee members in making the exercise successful. The release included a variety of cases at the Gombe Correctional Center. 75 inmates were granted bail, 61 were released unconditionally, and 10 were freed due to the good conduct. In Biliri Correctional Center, 6 inmates were released on bail, 26 unconditionally, and 7 were released based on their good behavior while incarcerated. Justice Mohammed stated the importance of justice and urged all magistrates in the state to carefully evaluate each case before delivering judgments. Kwara State Internal Revenue Service have said that the Revenue Service would not victimize or act in a particular way towards anyone based on their religion, ethnicity, or other personal social identity in the conduct of its services. The Revenue Service, in a press statement tied to discriminatory tax policies against Igbo traders, made available to journalists in Ilorin on Saturday by its head corporate affairs, Fumilayo Oguntumbi, also denied an online publication published on July 12, 2024, which described as false, malicious and inciting against the personality of the governor, to the extent that the Igbo traders in the state capital have been discriminated against in the conduct of the services of Quest also stated that the Revenue Service is stoutly against any discriminatory practices, as it had adopted a non-discriminating policy on prohibition of associations and assessment and collection of personal income tax in compliance with relevant provisions of the federal law, which is the Personal Income Tax Act 2011 as amended. The statement also said that even though Kwara State Igbo Traders Association had taken the state government and Quest to court in this regard, the execution of court judgment earlier won by Quest was against 3 Igbos and 3 Yorubas in the state capital. The statement also warned the online and those behind unpatriotic publication to refrain from heating up the polity by subjecting matters already before a competent court to a court of public opinion, where players sometimes intentionally choose which facts to state and which facts to suppress in the pursuit of their agenda. We urge the platform to refrain from interfering with the constitutional powers and functions of the court. Hundreds of protesters, mostly underage boys, gathered in Kano on Saturday morning on the 3rd day of the End Bad Governance protest. ATN gathered that youths trooped out in areas such as Kona, Asabe, Jane and Brigade to continue the protests. The State Police Commissioner Salman Dogo Garba informed newsmen that some youths hiding under a program organized by an unnamed politician at the Nasarawa Palace of Emir Aminu at Dobayero stormed the streets chanting anti-government songs. Journalists who went through Audu Bako Secretariat in an attempt to get to the state NUJ office situated at Firm Center was turned back despite identifying himself as journalists. Similarly, at the Amadu Bello Way, armed policemen blocked the entire road, insisting that nobody will pass through. An officer who shouted on top of his voice stressed that there was curfew in the town and nobody will be allowed to go anywhere, including journalists. ATN gathered that Governor Abba Kabiru Yusuf had imposed a 24-hour curfew in Kano after protesters went on rampage on August 1, looting and setting public buildings ablaze. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back right after this break. Please stay with us.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu will address the nation in a broadcast on Sunday, August 4, 2024 at 7 a.m. The special advisor to President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngalale, made this known in a statement on Saturday titled President Tinubu to Address the Nation. He urged television, radio and other electronic media outlets to join the network services of the Nigerian Television Authority and the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria for the broadcast. ATN recalls that since the protest started on Thursday, opposition People's Democratic Party and Tinubu's contenders in the last election, ex-Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, have loudly called on him to address defiant youths who have taken to the streets to express their displeasure over the wobbling economy and the attendant hardship in the country. Force headquarters have disclosed that, contrary to a figure released by Amnesty International claiming that 13 protesters were killed by security agencies in the ongoing protests against hunger in the country, only 7 persons were killed, most of them victims of suicide bombing and car accidents. The force headquarters also disclosed that it has arrested 681 individuals who allegedly participated in ongoing protests across the country. Force Public Relations Officer ACP Muiwa Dejobi made this known in a statement on Saturday that the arrested individuals committed various criminal offences such as armed robbery, arson, mischief and destruction of both public and private property. The force also revealed that the arrested individuals were found with dangerous weapons, including 2 AK-47 rifles and assorted live ammunition from the so-called protesters. It added that certain items such as furniture, electronics, phones and other various shop items and vital infrastructure worth billions of naira were recovered from the arrested persons. The force noted that the arrest was an effort to combat the trend of crimes and criminality during the ongoing protests. Nigerian military has said it will intervene in violence recorded in some states in the ongoing nationwide protest tag End Bad Governance in Nigeria escalates. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, during a press conference in Abuja, said the military will step in to control the looting and violence being witnessed in some parts of the country. ATN reports that the End Bad Governance protests started on Thursday with no fewer than 17 people feared killed as violence erupted in Abuja, Kano, Niger, Borno, Kaduna and Jigawa states. Businesses and banks were shut while major roads were deserted. The protests continued Friday as the police and protesters clashed in different parts of the country. The CDS noted that while he was aware of the grievances of the protesters on the challenging economic difficulties in the country, they must show understanding. He appealed to Nigerians to be united during these trying times and cautioned against looting and vandalism of property. The defense chief decried the destruction of valuables during the nationwide protest, describing it as crazy. He stressed that the military and other security agencies will not fold their arms and allow this country to be destroyed. People's Democratic Party has called on the President Bola Tinubu to address Nigerians amidst the ongoing End Bad Governance protest. saying his silence was worrisome and has worsened the agitations. The PDP also demanded that President Tinubu immediately address Nigerians on urgent steps to reduce the price of petroleum products, stem the fall of Naira, and ensure speedy provision of food, amongst other critical issues, to revamp the productive sector, stimulate employment, and restore stability in the polity. PDP, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Honorable Debo Ologunagba, disclosed and expressed the party's concern on President Tinubu's silence, saying it has sent a very dangerous signal and heightening public apprehension that the All Progressives Congress government was insensitive to the feelings of citizens and the overall sorry state of the affairs of the nation. PDP further called on Nigerians to remain peaceful and law-abiding in the pursuit of responsive and people-oriented government, which he noted has eluded the nation since the coming of the APC in 2015. Analysts believe that it is impossible for the ruling All Progressives Congress to listen and take advice from the opposition party. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program ATN Politics, a political analyst, Vincent Okoro, stressed that taking advice from the opposition is an indirect way of reinforcing the opposition and making them a public impression that they can rule better.
It's an indirect way of reinforcing them and making them to have confidence as far confronting the public, you know, that they are a more capable hand in leadership is concerned, you know. Then when you now look again, the proponent of this whole the protagonist of this topic we are talking about right now, the PDP, are they just waking from their slumber? Because you were at the aim of affairs from 1999 to
Exactly.
2015.
Exactly.
So what is that thing that you did that place you, that gives you the moral fortitude to think that you are now in position to advise us? Did you just graduate from Cambridge or Harvard as a, you know, in the political school of Cambridge and Harvard, for you to not think that you are not qualified, you know, to offer leadership advice to my political party? Or are you saying that we are dumb to take whatever you are telling us hook, line, and sinker? So, you know, it's a no. What the PDP should be doing is to capitalize on the few states under their.
Meanwhile, Mr. Vincent Ogenekewe Okoro posits that the All Progressive-led administrations and handicapped as far as avoidance of protest is concerned, citing Nigeria's problem involves all levels of government. Recall the People's Democratic Party.
They would have been able to do. You can see what happened, you know, when the rumor of the protest was coming.
Yes.
Then they opened the grain chamber and started distributing whatever, of which both myself and those around me, we've not seen a cup of that grain up to now.
Exactly.
You know, and then how could that have been a solution? And then the other issue is this: it's not like they were not released. The grain in question, they were released to the various states. Then what happened at the state level? For you to now tell me that the problem is federal government, the problem go beyond what is happening at the federal level. So it is from the micro level to the macro level.
You'd recall that the People's Democratic Party has charged the All Progressives Congress-led federal government to immediately review all its anti-people policies that are asphyxiating life in the country. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has lambasted the Nigeria Police Force FCT command for detaining several individuals who gathered at Moshood Abiola Stadium to protest on Saturday. The rights group noted that the unconstitutional arrests occurred just outside the stadium at designated areas of the protest. The organizers of the protest had sought permission to use Eagle Square but were denied access, and the FCT police authorities secured a court order confining the protesters to the MKO Abiola National Stadium. Uriwa, citing media reports, explains that on the third day of the protest, demonstrators were absent from the stadium in the early morning. However, around 11 a.m., small groups began to assemble. As the numbers grew, the police responded with gunfire and tear gas, leading to multiple arrests. Riwa lamented that even journalists present at the scene were also detained, although they were subsequently released after identifying themselves and were instructed to vacate the premises immediately. Riwa describes this Gestapo-type operational mode of the police as reminiscent of a military dictatorship. National Youth Service Corps was that graduates of Polytechnic and Monotechnics without evidence of mandatory one-year industrial training will not participate in national service. Mrs. Yetunde Baderinwa, NYSC coordinator in Lagos State, made this known in an interview with newsmen on Saturday. Baderinwa said that NYSC had issued a circular to that effect and said it has been noticed in recent times that some graduates of polytechnics and monotechnics do not observe the mandatory one-year IT before being admitted for the HND program. According to the coordinator, prospective corps members who are HND graduates were required to present evidence of completion of the IT before being registered at the NYSC orientation camp. She said that the measure would promote the sanctity of Nigeria's educational system. Now on business news, petroleum marketers have blamed the current scarcity of petroleum products on the alleged shady deals between the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, depots and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMA, and the regulatory agency, Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The marketers claimed that the deals involving the NNPC, the tank farm owners, and the NMDPRA were inimical to the availability of the products and seamless distribution to retail outlets. Against this background, the downstream operators have called on President Bola Tinubu to urgently intervene on the issue. The marketers, who spoke on condition of anonymity, revealed that the NNPCL, being the sole importer of the product, now put the independent marketers, whom they noted have the largest retail outlets in the country, at the mercy of DAPMA, the tank farm owners. ATN learns that NNPCL, the sole importer, gives petrol to the private depot owners operating under the aegis of DAPMA, the depot price of 556 naira per litre, leaving them with little or no marginal profit to sell at stations. And one of the marketers who pleaded anonymity said, what we used to have in the past was an arrangement where the NNPCL gave allocations meant for independent marketers to the private depot owners to sell to marketers with a benchmark, a reasonable price. Nigeria's inflation may worsen as the country's money supply, which measures the total amount of money in an economy, reached at all-time high 101.3 million naira in June 2024. This is according to recent data from Central Bank of Nigeria. The figure shows that M3 increased by 56.15% to 101.3 million naira in June 2024 from 64.9 trillion naira recorded in the corresponding period of June 2023. And according to financial analysts, when the money supply increases, it can lead to high inflation. On a month-on-month basis, the money supply increased by 2.1% from 99.2 trillion in May 2024. The increase in M3 comes despite the monetary tightening of the CBN. The CBN had issued over 1.5 trillion naira in open market operations bills since Olayemi Kadoso took the helm as governor in September last year to stem inflation and strengthen the naira. The country's core and food inflation stood at 34.1% and 40.87% respectively in June 2024, while interest rates stood at 26.7%. Commenting on the M3 data, analysts at FBN Quest said while the increase in CIC may suggest improved economic activity in nominal terms and higher consumer spending, it also highlighted the risk of inflation, particularly if money supply growth exceeds real output growth. The development comes as the National Assembly recently increased the Nigerian government's ways and means an advanced threshold to 10% from 5%. As of June 2024, Nigeria's currency in circulation rose to 4.05 trillion naira from 2.6 trillion naira in the same period last year. Up next is international tidbits. Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada has asked Nigerian student Lola Akinlade to leave the country over a fake acceptance letter she used to obtain a study visa and work permit. Akinlade, who graduated with a diploma in social services from Nova Scotia Community College in 2019, shared her bitter experience with CBC News on Thursday. According to her, she was unaware that the acceptance letter provided by an agent for the University of Virginia in 2016 was fake until she was contacted by the IRCC a few weeks ago before her graduation from her new institution. The mother of two noticed that while receiving her diploma, she felt both happiness and worry upon realizing that she had allegedly relied on a fraudulent document to secure her study permit. She recounted meeting a man at her office who claimed to be an immigration consultant and offered to guide her through the process of becoming an international student by applying for a master's degree in business administration. Akinlade explains that she did not specify a particular university in the agent, only stating that she wanted to study at a reputable Canadian institution. She described how she provided the agent with documents such as a passport, university transcript, along with payment. Several months later, he provided her with a study permit for Canada, plane tickets, and an acceptance letter from the University of Virginia. Akinlade stated that she did not contact the University of Virginia directly until 2 years later, when she received a letter from IRCC informing her that the acceptance letter was fake. Meanwhile, when CBC contacted the agent Babatunde Isiaq Adegoke, he confirmed providing Akinlade with the acceptance letter but said it was supplied by a company located in Ijibo, Lagos State, called Success Academy Education Consult, which he had hired. At least 62 civilians have been killed and 63 injured in an explosion on a popular beach in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. Police said Saturday that the incident, blamed by government on military Islamist group AI Shabab, occurred late on Friday evening. This came at the deadliest attack in Somalia since twin car bombs detonated near a busy market intersection in October 2022, killed at least 100 people. Police spokesperson Adi Fatah then said one soldier was killed in addition to the 32 civilians killed at the beach restaurant. And then said one of the attackers blew himself up. 3 others were killed by security forces, while one attacker was captured alive. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud and Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Bare had met with security agencies, stating that they have drawn up plans to strengthen the city's security. The president's office said in a post on X, the government is determined to eliminate the terrorists. The terrorists want to terrify the citizens or the civilians. Let the civilians report the terrorists hiding amongst them. ATN learned that the AI Shabab is the terrorist group which controlled much of Somalia before they were pushed back in government counter-offenses. The militants, however, remained capable of launching significant attacks on government and other targets and are believed to be behind a Friday night attack. And the Al-Shabaab, the Al-Qaeda's East African affiliate, said Saturday afternoon through its radio stations that its fighters indeed carried out the attack. Israeli drone strike killed 5 people in the occupied West Bank on Saturday, the Palestinian press agency Wafa and Palestinian sources reported, while the Israeli military said it struck a terrorist cell in the Tulkarem region. The director of the Thabet hospital in Tulkarem said in a statement that 5 martyrs had arrived at the facility after an Israeli drone strike on a Palestinian vehicle close to the village of Zaita and Tulkarem. According to Wafa, an Israeli military drone targeted at a vehicle with 2 missiles which caught fire, killing 5 men. The Israeli military said in a brief statement an IDF military aircraft struck a vehicle and terrorist cell operating within the area of Tulkarem without providing further details for the movement. The Israel-Hamas war that began last October in the Gaza Strip, violence has intensified in the West Bank. At least 594 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli troops and settlers in the West Bank and since October 7, according to AFP tally based on Palestinian Health Ministry figures. At least 17 Israelis, including soldiers, have been killed by Palestinian attacks in the West Bank on the same period, according to official Israeli figures. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump said late Friday he has agreed with Fox News to debate Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris on September 4. Trump wrote on his Truth social media platform, "I have agreed with Fox News to debate Kamala Harris on Wednesday, September 4th, but it was not immediately clear if Harris had agreed to the debate." Trump's post came hours after Harris secured the Democratic Party's presidential nomination as about his age and lagging polling numbers, withdrew his candidacy and backed Harris. Biden bowed out following a disastrous debate performance against Trump in June on CNN. A second Trump-Biden television debate had been scheduled for September 10 on ABC television that was expected to remain in place, with Harris replacing Biden, but Trump's spokesman Stephen Chung last week said it was inappropriate to schedule it before Harris was formally the Democratic nominee. In his post, Trump gave details of the debate venue and the moderators, saying it would be held before a full audience. 8-year-old Kwana Hodson brought her father's firearm to school and shot her 56-year-old gymnastics teacher, Jim Turner, at Ford Elementary School in Detroit, Michigan, United States. According to reports, Turner had summoned Kwana to his office during the gym class, and shortly after, 2 gunshots rang out, sending students fleeing in terror. The school security personnel rushed to the scene to find Turner deceased with gunshot wounds to his thigh and chest. The police arrived and took Kwana into custody. At the police station, Kwana disclosed that Turner had been inappropriately touching her and threatened to harm her if she reported the abuse. Fearing for her safety, she retrieved her father's gun from under a mattress and brought it to school for protection. Security footage corroborated Kwana's account, showing Turner regularly taking her into his office. Kwana's parents were expected to face charges related to Turner's death. The community is sharply divided over the incident, with some expressing skepticism about Kwana's story, including teacher Lorraine Jacobs, who witnessed the aftermath. And now on entertainment news. Popular comedian and skit maker Dennis Igwe has alleged that his colleague and former collaborator Mark Angel told people he was dead after their fallout. He made the allegations while appearing on podcast. Igwe said Mark Angel told people that he's dead. Noting that there is a video he made about it, he said Dennis don't die. When they asked him, he said, he was dead, adding that someone called him recently to confirm if he was dead, and he told him he's still alive. Dennis Inigwe also claims that Mark's other collaborators, Emanuela and Success, would come on the show someday to share their ordeals in his hands. Mark Angel is yet to react to the allegations. Nigerian singer and songwriter Star has attributed her success to her relentless self-criticism and dedication to improvement. In her Dare to Dream documentary by Amazon Music, Star reveals that being her own harshest critic had played a critical role in her career growth and current success. Star reflected on her early performances, emphasizing her self-critical nature. The Grammy-nominated artist also discussed her dedication to her craft, noting that she even studied stage production. Star concludes that you just have to be strong, and putting that pressure on myself has definitely brought me here, and I'm cool with that as long as I get what I want. And now on ATN Sports News. Alex Iwobi was named man of the match following Fulham's pre-season friendly 1-0 win in Benfica. Iwobi scored the decisive goal from Fulham in the encounter played at the Estadio Algarve. The 27-year-old slaughtered the ball from inside the box in 21st minute after he was set up at Tony Robinson. The versatile midfielder was replaced by Marshall Godo 11 minutes from time. Iwobi's international teammate Calvin Bassey was also in action in the game. Fulham will face La Liga club Sevilla in their friendly on Monday, August 5. Kaisola Ajayi and Favor share claimed a place in the men's 100-meter semi-finals at the ongoing 2024 Olympic Games on Saturday. The duo are making their debut at the Olympic Games. Ajayi won heat 5 in 10 seconds, beating Olympics champion Lamont Marcel Jacobs into second position at 10.05 seconds. Japan's Abdul Hakim Sani Brown and Thailand's Sapul Bom however, sealed his place in the semis after grabbing the last non-automatic spot. In swimming, Adukan Wadu finished second in heat of 6 of women's 50 meters freestyle behind Eliza Veta Peckers. The 16-year-old, however, failed to meet in the final. Sports Minister John Eno has vowed to find out why Nigeria athlete Favour Ofili was excluded from the 100-meter race at the ongoing 2024 Olympics taking place in Paris. Ofili, a strong medal contender, was notably absent from the event, which began on Saturday today. The minister expressed his disappointment in a statement on Saturday on his X.com handle. According to him, he has been working tirelessly to resolve the issue as he engaged the officials from the Nigeria Olympics Committee and World Athletics. While admitting that other countries had encountered similar setbacks, the minister stated that Nigeria's situation required urgent attention. He questioned the circumstances leading to Ofili's omission from the 100-meter race, demanding to know what point was her name dropped from the list and who was responsible. However, he vowed to probe the matter religiously after the Olympics. Despite the setback, and urged Ofili to remain focused on other events, assuring her of his support. He also called on the rest of the team, Nigeria, to stay motivated and strive for victory. Sports Minister, Nigeria National League side Sokoto United have announced the signing of Isaac Ali from Kano Pillars. Ali was unveiled by Sokoto United at their secretariat on Friday. The midfielder signed a 2-year contract with the club. Nigeria National League side Sokoto United have announced the signing of Isaac Ali from Kano Pillars. Ali was unveiled by Sokoto United at their secretariat on Friday. The midfielder signed a 2-year contract with the club. Ali has been labelled as a key signing following his experience Nigerians. Sokoto United will be hoping to secure promotion to the Nigeria Premier Football League next season. They reached the NNL playoffs last season. Manchester United have finally reached an agreement with Bayern Munich to sign fullback Desire Mazur, according to Foot Mercato. Mazur is now set to fly to England to complete his summer transfer move to Manchester United in the coming days. Bayern Munich have given the 26-year-old permission to travel to Manchester and finalize the deal. Mazur now has already agreed personal terms on a 5-year deal with the Premier League giants. He also has option of a further year with the Red Devils. Manchester United defender Jan Koto will leave Pep Guardiola's side to join Borussia Dortmund this summer transfer window. This was disclosed by football transfer expert Fabrizio Romano in a tweet on X on Saturday morning. Jan Koto joins Borussia Dortmund on €25 million deal plus €5 million deal. Add-ons from Man City confirmed. Romano tweeted. Koto joined Manchester in 2020 from Brazilian side Curitiba FC, but has spent time on loan at different clubs. The Brazilian spent last season on loan spell at Girona. A 20-year-old has never made appearance for Guardiola's side. And that's the global news for tonight. But before we go, a major look at the major stories. Rebel security operatives in show of force. Police arrest 681 protesters. NBA condemns looting, vandalization. Nigeria's money supply hits 101.3 million naira. Trump agrees to debate Kamala Harris. McAngel accused of spreading death rumors. I am Enidoye Jackson. Thank you for watching. Remember to stay connected with us on all of our socials on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram and TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X at Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website at www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you once again for watching and have a very good evening.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics,